This broadcast of Cultural Caravan is paid for by Cultural Caravan Productions Incorporated.
Greetings. My name is Louise Dente, and I welcome you to yet another edition of Cultural Caravan. On this edition is a special, as we're joined by the President General of the UNIA-ACL, as well as two key officers, joined by President General Michael Duncan, welcome, as
Thank you.
well as the Director of Communications, Mr. Rodney Dugue. And last
Greetings.
but not least, the New York Division President and head of the education team, Mr. Oster Bryan. I said that right? Wonderful. I want to thank you all for joining us. I am honored. And as many of you know, Brother Raymond Dugue, who's the first Assistant President General, has been with us, but we were very excited when he said that he was going to have the administrative team, the leadership team here. So I'm very honored that you're with us. Let's start with Brother Rodney, who is going to talk about some exciting plans going on at the UNIA. Please begin.
I am so excited to formally announce the launch of UNIA Rock Media. I've held a lot of different titles in my life, son, brother, husband, but this by far is the most exciting title. We are really going to take the UNIA to the next level. And the origins of UNIA Rock Media actually started with this amazing radio program called Community Focus that my dad, First Assistant President General, and PG had been running for 7 years. I actually only became a real listener maybe 2 years ago, and I could not believe the wealth of information that I was receiving on Mondays and Tuesdays just for an hour. It became such a phenomenon in our household that my 5-year-old son would look forward to it every Monday and Tuesday. In fact, we were a little down for the rest of the week because there was no community focus to listen to. And this really showed me the power of this radio station. And beyond just my experience with the radio station, um, the the Rock itself, the community-owned supermarket, was really built off the strength of this radio station. So as we were nearing the end of our 7-year run, and as fate would have it, the radio station that actually hosted Community Focus was actually being acquired. We kind of reached this fork in a road where our radio station, we no longer could continue to exist as a radio station because, like I said, the station was being bought. So it created this amazing opportunity now to create an internet radio network, which we actually have been hosting Mondays and Tuesdays on YouTube.
Well, I'm certainly excited, and I know that people who've really grown accustomed to listening to the wealth of information that's coming out are very excited for the fact that now you can be heard more readily at your call. That is tremendous. Thank you. Now we're going to hear from Brother Oster Bryan, who is the president of the New York Division, as well as the Minister of Education. There's a lot of exciting programs going on, is my understanding. Brother, can you please explain what's happening?
Yes, thank you. And thank you again, Sister Dente, for having us. Always good to see Brother PG and Brother Rodney. Yeah, we're doing the people's work. So we get them at all stages. We must act as if we answer to our ancestors, our children, and the unborn. And to that, we are having our UNI Math Academy every Saturday at CMOTAP, 4 to 6 at 13505 Rockaway Boulevard. I want to thank Sister Betty and Dr. Matt for allowing us to use that space to where we get to engage the children. So we understand that the schools have failed our children. We're not going to sit by and act like victims and boo-hoo about it. We're going to actually use our talents and abilities to do something about it and address it. And to that effect, right now we haven't broken out into age groups yet. So it's a mix of children from 8 to 13 currently. And so that's been going strong, getting better. And yeah, we're challenging them. And we don't think we're limiting it to simply math. This is, I'm not afraid to say it, Black indoctrination. And then we also have, we encourage those parents to join the UNIA. And of course, we have our orientation. This is, well, currently my third semester teaching the course. We are about a third of the way through our current semester, where, it's one thing to do the work of Black people. It's another thing entirely to know why you're doing it. And not to say that, and not to say that just knowing things means something, right? We follow the maxims of Ptah Hotep, and the first maxim is no knowledge is absolute. Nobody knows all. So we're all students, perpetual students, but we get to ground with each other every Saturday from 8 to 10. Yes. So we're not in the disco. We are together, grounded with brothers and sisters across the country, in Canada, sometimes in the West Indies as well. Yeah, we got some brothers and sisters from the West Indies who come on, and we're just grounding with each other, essentially telling us each other how great we are. And it's a healthy way to spend our Saturday evenings. Thank you, student.
Thank you. I have two questions for you. One is, you talked about math. As you know, I mean, I don't, that was one challenging subject for me in school. For those adults, whether they be parents who are trying to help their child with their math class, or it could be a teenager, a high school student, or a college student, how do you ensure that those people at that level are also able to get benefit? Or do you have certain separate classes? Or talk to me about that.
It's really proficiency in any subject, including math, is really just not about not being intimidated. And so when we ground it in our own historical experiences, we believe that even you, right? So maybe if you had the right, myself even, I include it, I'm not exempt, had the right teacher who really showed that this was from you. This is something that your forefathers created. Then it may not have been as intimidating. And really, it's about patience. What I tend to see is people give up. They get frustrated when they think, oh, this is too complicated, and they give up and they want to run away. The fact is, if you just struggle with it, PG can attest to this. Like, if you're in business, you just can't say, oh, this problem's too tough. No. You have to struggle with it. And as you struggle with it, and over time, you think, oh, I see it now. It makes sense. Okay. And then that's where it comes from. So for children or their parents, because even in the orientation, there is a math section, because we can't ask the children to do something that the adults or the elders are intimidated to do. So, and again, we're not doing calculus just as yet, but we get there.
So if I'm a high schooler, if I'm a college student or a parent, I show up with my Johnny or Jeannie or Nzinga, and I say, and they have their session. I can talk to you on the side. Someone will be able to work with me at my level, adult, or to help give it. I'm just saying, for those out there, because there are people out there who really do need support with math and who are not even able to help their children, and who really could use that support. So I think it's an excellent opportunity that the UNIA-ACL is giving to the community, because it's so important that we have those things. And the other piece is the orientation. Tell us a little bit about the orientation. The orientation, I understand, is for new members. People who are basically joining, right? Tell us about what does that work. So someone is joined, they're a member. So how do they get in there?
Right. So once you're a member, then your president or your division secretary will send you the link to the orientation. And it's not only for new members. There's a lot of old timers on there. There's folks who've already passed the class who just like enjoy being around Black folks. So they're there as well. And yeah, get a grounding of the philosophy of Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, and the things that came before, right? So we always want to always look back. So Marcus Garvey sold Africa to the Africans, but why? What's so great about Africa? And so we talk about what's so great about Africa, as I mentioned before. And yeah, and through that, we have discussions. We draw it into what's current events, what's currently going on. I just heard PG talking about reparations, so we talk about that as well. And so yeah, it's a healthy space. What we don't do enough, there's a lot of unhealthy, what Dr. Bobby Wright called it menticide. There's a whole lot of unhealthy information that we digest. So this is a cup of clean water every Saturday that us as UNIA members get to drink and replenish ourselves. So when we go out there with the rest of the sickos and unhealthy folks, at least we can be that medicine.
Gotcha. And it's so needed. Last but definitely not least is the President General. Got 1,000 questions for you, sir, but I'm going to limit it to, because I know your time is key and I'm so happy to have you on. The first question is the Faka Rock. Talk to us about that, because there seems to be a lot of excitement around there. Tell us about that, the Faka Rock, what it means and what's going on.
The purpose and the basis from which the Faka Rock came is that we see that we as a cultural people, cultural race of people, we don't provide our own foods to ourselves. As I traveled through the streets of Johannesburg, Soweto, Nigeria, Liberia, Ghana, Kingston, Jamaica, and even those streets in these United States, we had not seen any form of supermarket, grocery store, wholesale company owned by us as African people. Since we were living in this region here, the 29th district of Southeast Queens, we realized that it's the same thing happening here, even though we have the highest per capita income in the world as far as African people are concerned. Therefore, we said that we must create such a food establishment. And FACA basically stands for FACA, F, Federation, A, African, then Caribbean American Association. But we should have just said the African Federation. But some of our people are still not up to par yet. Some of us still don't consider ourselves to be African. We call ourselves American Caribbean people. So we try to facilitate everyone, just like Mr. Garvey did with UNIA-ACL. So we realize that at this point, we have to begin to feed our people. And we have to begin to create these feeding food supermarket institutions, and therefore the building, the organizing of the FACA Rock. We also wanted to ensure that not just a few of us own FACA, but each and every African person on the face of the earth is and considered a member, an investor of the Rock, even though they haven't fully paid their initial investment as yet. It's owned by us. You just have to come and claim your ownership. We were able to organize hundreds of African people to invest their monies. We started out with $1.8 million, and we are in the stages where we're actually making profits. So we see our people are getting dividends. 2 years ago, FACA Rock paid out 6.4% dividend. Last year, 12.8. In a month or so, we're going to pay out a new dividend, and our people are wondering what's going to be the rate of the dividends issued this year. So we intend to put a FACA Rock in every city, every state, every country where Black people live. But we want to let our people know that we will get there as soon as they invest. The faster we invest and join ranks here with us, the faster we will have more Fakara popping up all over the world.
Mm. Tremendous. It's a tremendous opportunity. And you know what? You think about all of the millionaires and some billionaires that we have in our community, and you would think that someone would have thought about the importance of setting up such an institution, but unfortunately, people don't think that far. But I really appreciate the fact that the UNIA-ACL has taken that, like you say, the black print of Mr. Garvey, and are continuing the work and doing the key work of ensuring that we have the institutions, we have what's needed to sustain our community. So we really appreciate that. The second is what's going on in Africa. Tell us.
You know, Mr. Garvey said it best. Mr. Garvey said, Africa must be our guiding star. Africa must be our stars of destiny. There must be a base, and the base cannot be anywhere else but Africa. I'm not saying we shouldn't organize and build in our local communities anywhere we are. Yes, well, we must organize, because it's after organizing here that we can go to Africa with our dollars and build and invent and just do great things. We want to be able to let Africa be that base that we stand on. You have to realize that Mr. Garvey had planned for a gigantic city in Liberia. And in that city, there was supposed to be a farm. There were supposed to be supermarkets. There were supposed to be universities. But unfortunately, that was derailed. But it doesn't mean that it was derailed then. It's still going to be derailed now. So we have taken the baton and move on that to ultimately build that city that Mr. Garvey spoke about. But we realize that the first step in building that city is to build a farm, because we must be able to feed ourselves. And the proceed, the dividends, the monies we gain from the farm, within 5 or so years, we will move towards building that city, that great city that Mr. Garvey envisioned, that super city. And right now, we're having good scholars like Brother Rodney and Brother Oster. So Brother Dugue and I, we're just setting the foundation so we can leave a stronger base to Brother Rodney and Brother Oster, that their work won't be as hard as ours. But what's going on in Africa with Liberty Farm, it's just simply amazing. And as I said, one of the products we're going to make on Liberty Farm, it's a product that Jamaicans use a lot. It's called Bami. And you could never get enough Bamis here in North America. So we have planted over 40 acres of cassava in Liberia, and we are going to make Bami in Liberia and ship them here to North America, where we will control this market here. And the same profits that we get from producing the Bami in Liberia will go towards building that great city that Mr. Garvey envisioned in Liberia. We realize that we can't do it by ourselves. No matter how great I want to think Brother Dugue is, or how great he wants to think that I am, unless we have good brothers like my 2 brothers online today and many of our members, these dreams we have, these visions we have, they will only be dreams and vision unless we can let our brothers and our sisters share in these visions. It doesn't matter how great Brother Dugue wants to think that I am, or how great I want to think that he is. And he's a great brother, and I'm fortunate to have him. However, unless we can let Brother Rodney and Brother Oster share the vision, share the interest, share the love, we're not going anywhere. So I am extremely happy that I have these 2 brothers in addition to the other brothers and sisters we have working on this Race First platform. But for anything to happen, anything faith-worthy to happen, it must happen through unity. And as I'm saying, it's great having younger brothers who are going to take the baton to the next level. So just in case Brother Raymond and I are not able to finish that great city, we know it is in good hands. Thank you, sister.
You're absolutely right. That's been a problem in the past with our community where there was no secession, and unfortunately, the leaders back then wanted to keep it to themselves forever and ever and ever, which is not a realistic. So I'm very happy that you have a forward-thinking uh, uh, mindset in terms of how do we ensure that our people know what to do. They're following the Black print. They see examples of leadership through you and Brother Raymond. And that is so critical to really be that example for our people to ensure that they know, have a role model in terms of how things should be done. So really excited. I know that the farm, I've seen, we've had some lovely pictures of the farm. And also there's a school. Tell us about the school that was started.
Yeah, we realized that we have to teach our children. So we started the Marcus Garvey Academy, where we actually started teaching children from the village. And we were able to help them. There's one amazing little boy who, when we first got there, he could not read. Now he's able to read anything and everything. In addition, we are partnering with the First Lady to build a school where we're going to decide a curriculum. It's going to have over 300 children, little girls. We're going to take girls from all over the 15 counties it says in Liberia. Most of the girls will be children who are currently living in orphanages, but we're going to take them, we're going to teach them math, science, and of course, Brother Rodney and Brother Oster, Garvey and Garveyism.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
That's really great. And Africa can benefit from that. Those children will be forever enhanced and never impacted by the fact that they had the impact, had the touch of the Garvey movement coming in. We're not coming in, I'm thinking, as people in the diaspora, just as visitors. A lot of times our people will go to the continent, visit, buy clothes, do this and that, and just leave. But what you're doing in terms of saying, look, it's our responsibility as Africans in the diaspora to come back, to bring our skills, to support our people, to have an ongoing relationship, and to really ensure that the vision of Garveyism continues. And hopefully this will go, Liberia is a great start, but hopefully we can continue to do this in other countries with their, so that's something. Is there a possibility of spreading this to other countries on the continent, or?
Well, sister, that's such a great question, and that's why we go to Africa twice a year. In February, it's always to Ghana and Liberia. But last October, we went to Senegal, we went to Gambia, and we went to Sierra Leone. This year, we're going to Kenya and Ethiopia. The objective of going to all these countries is to establish relationships that we can build UNIA divisions. Then we start doing businesses with the brothers and sisters, because the entire Africa is ours and we intend to use every square inch of it. However, we have to start somewhere. But in Ghana, we have started some processes, but they're ready, where I'll be getting a lot of products from Ghana. I've organized with 100 women in Ghana to grow that nice, healthy rice that they grow there. We will be bringing containers of goods from Ghana straight into the Rock. So we are influencing trade there as well. So our objective is to have these programs, to have the Rock all over Africa, to have Liberty Farm in every African state, in every Caribbean island where our people live. And of course, in these United States where we live, we will have a Liberty Farm as well.
Well, again, I'm just saying I'm excited, and I'm sure those in the audience are excited by the work, by the commitment, and sacrifice of you and your team of leaders, and we really appreciate the work, and we're very excited about what's next to come, and particularly also us being introduced to two young men that I known who are on the mark. They're excited, as passionate.
People think that I'm smart, but I'm not smart. I just associate myself with smart people. That's why I've been hanging out with Raymond Dugue for the longest time. Now, I think the world of Rodney. Rodney was my soccer student. I coached Rodney when he was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And Rodney is brilliant. And Brother Oster is just magnificent.
That's absolutely, and that's why you're the President General. You know what's the best. So we appreciate you for your leadership and stewardship, and of course the brothers that are right now in the process of gearing up to take their rightful role in this
Of course.
process too. So I just want to say on behalf of Cultural Caravan, we thank you all for joining us, because this is so important. This is about us celebrating our legacy. And I want to say, I appreciate those. I hope that you've enjoyed this broadcast. We continue to encourage you to tune in, to write, and to tell a friend. But please visit our website, www.ccctv.org. But until next time, Louise Dente saying thank you. If you would like to support these broadcasts, we encourage you to send contributions to P.O. Box 300851, Jamaica, New York 11430. Thank you.
This broadcast of Cultural Caravan is paid for by Cultural Caravan Productions Incorporated.